So here's the before on my beautiful client, Victoria. She only comes every 6 months, and as you can see, she has a sprinkle of gray that really just runs down like the center of her head. She gets a few of them around the face. So I like to use a combination of Airtouch and highlights just to kind of blend them together so that her gray goes out super seamless. And here I'm mixing up my favorite lightener, Balmy Schwarzkopf, and I am starting off with 1 scoop, or actually 2 scoops, my apologies, because she has a lot of hair. And I'm going to be using 13 volume from Wella Color Touch. The pump isn't working, so don't mind me, I had to pour it in. Besides, I'm the type of person I like to mix lightener to a specific consistency. And this video is a little sped up, but you want to always mix the lightener slow so that you're not putting a lot of oxygen into it, so that this way it doesn't swell when you're using it, because this lightener can swell a little bit. And then you can just add to the consistency. I like my consistency kind of like Cool Whip, if that makes sense. So yeah.
And by the way, I never did. Yeah, usually comes Sunday. Sunday morning. Usually comes Thursday. Friday. I'm so confused. So the first thing next Thursday night. So I'm like, what's that? Yeah, I'm still changing scenery. Like, yeah. There you go. Like too much. That's fancy, Ross. That's very cool. That's very cool. And if it's one of my just take some time. Yeah. I can't let it go. I'm super glad it's like, I was using the phone. I don't know. You only know this. Get one out of here. You know what you're doing? Have more snow. It's new. Are they all doing it here? I know. I'm wonderfully tired. I thought her job is to do that, right? I wish I could do that. You know, she's there. She's around feet. I will, it's beautiful. I know, she looks great. She looks like the time she's growing her long, and it looks pretty, don't get me wrong, but I don't like here. Yeah. I have long hair. I feel like I'm so different. Right. But she don't want the man. Yeah, because I got it from the sleeves. Right? Yeah, never goes to sleeves. Yeah. Right? People think that's like, no, it's not. It's way more hands. I love having long hair. So just let it look, you know, crazy close up. But yeah, so this one has, yeah, right? So we come in, look at the side. You're only uploading up to the top. Exactly. And it's focused. Yep. It's perfect on time. And, you know, it's like, but I can't like, I don't have time to walk it. So that's the figure. Yeah. So for me, I feel like it's really great in the sense of like, I guess you guys mentioned like, sure, oh, not anymore. Sorry. No.
So to explain how I do this technique is I like to do a fine weave highlight, and I like to look at how her gray is growing in. So if I pick up a section and there's no gray on that section, I'm not going to highlight it because we're trying to mimic the way that her gray grows and make them look like they are highlights. If she has like a fine sprinkle, I'll do a fine highlight and I'll do the Airtouch. If she has a heavier density of gray in her hair and area, I will do just regular highlights. Something else that I like to do as well is some sections I will leave a little hair in between if it's like a finer density of gray, and if there's areas where there's more gray packed in, I'll do the foils back to back, so that this way I'm mimicking the way that they look.
They do on Friday, so it's like Memorial Day to Labor Day. It's either 14 half days or 7 full days, so it becomes 3 vacation days. That's on Friday. Yeah. It's really cool. It's just nice not to try to do like 14 things one time. No, I didn't already want to get so far. Like, I don't worry on this. Thank you. You want no, I have my jug. Just probably gonna Thanks so much. That's just normal. They don't have to do it. One time, what's the other? Absolutely. Huh?
And so I finally reached the front of her hairline where I am doing 2 back-to-back fine weave foils with no hair left out. So I'm giving her a money piece, but a much more subtle one, if you will. Usually I slice around the face and that type of thing, but in this circumstance, she's one of those clients, she likes the very, very natural looking highlight. So that is what we're doing. Don't be afraid to ask your clients to move their head back just for a few minutes if you need to. You gotta get in there. You want to get close to the scalp. And then I repeat the same process on the sides here. So I'm starting off with doing 2 back-to-back fine weave foils, and there's no hair left out. They're just doing the actual regular highlights. And once I get to the side, essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that side section that I have mapped out, and I'm going to take pie-shaped sections going from the corner of the face framing highlights about every inch in that section up until I get to a horizontal foil. And I find that it just leaves really nice pockets of depth for the highlights to sit on top of. And it's not over highlighted, especially since she's not very gray in that area. But I still want to just break it up so that she has some lightness in there.
You look like we're not totally not feeling that part. Yeah. Ooh, I'm telling you. I don't want to eat the chicken. Are they nuts? That's what you do? Camera. Oh, I don't know my car.
As you can see, I am using my comb to create the highlights. They are from Velen. If you haven't heard of them, please check them out. They are so amazing. They're so sturdy, and they just make the job so much easier and faster. And who doesn't love that? So as you can see here, I'm doing that first face framing highlight just so I could show you. And again, these are back to back. I'm not leaving any hair in between them. And you're going to see on the side what I mean by I'm taking those pie-shaped subsections. So after I finish these, you'll see that. So yeah, now that I finished those sections, what I'm going to do is take a pie-shaped section to the corner of those face frame highlights that's closest to the top of her head. And then again, I'm going to be doing the highlights, and I'm doing the Airtouch as well. So some sections I would do Airtouch, some sections I would do just highlights on. And again, this is just custom blending and just making sure that it's going to mimic the client's natural hair and look super grown out and just super blended, so that this way she doesn't have to worry about being in here every 6 weeks. So yeah, so as you can see here, I'm coming up to that last foil that's horizontal. And that's just going to finish off the section. I believe I did 4 or 5 foils on each side because she was not really gray on the sides. So I didn't want to over highlight them, as I mentioned before, because she wouldn't really have that there. And after finishing her application, which took me about 50 minutes, I then started to pull her out as needed. I blew her out. I gave her a nice round brush blow dry. And I toned her with Riken 8N, just so that y'all know. I left it on the roots for 15 minutes, for the ends 10 minutes. And it created a super blended natural look. She only comes once every 6 months, so she wants something that's very low maintenance. And can we just appreciate that money piece? Like, it's so natural and blended. And this is all her hair, guys. Like, this is she is one of the best heads of hair I've ever worked on. And as you can see here, no matter which way she flips it, it mimics her natural gray, and it's versatile. She can flip her hair however she wants, and it's gonna look good. Tell me what you think.